All right, I thought we had all the NBA coaching vacancies out the way, but one more popped up later in the week. That would be Rick Carlisle of the Dallas Mavericks, and he resigned after 13 seasons on the job. Carlisle, as you know, helped lead the Mavericks to the 2010-11 NBA title, but the Mavericks had not won a playoff series since then. So the Mavericks are going to set off on a new direction. We'll see who they hire as head coach. There was reportedly some increased friction between Carlisle and their young gun Luka Doncic. The Mavericks also lost their longtime basketball president of operations Donnie Nelson earlier in the week. Okay, Drink. What do you see the Mavs going from here?
Ooh, this is quite a conundrum for the owner, Mark Cuban. I don't know, man. You losing a long time successful coach. You losing a long time, probably what you would consider one of the heartbeats of the Mavericks organization and Donnie Nelson. All while coming up with your new star, young gun, you know, Euro piece, as you like, as most people like to call it, since Dirk Nowitzki he then passed over the torch. It's a lot going on with Dallas right now. It's a lot going on for Mark Cuban. He got a lot of stuff to figure out because this is not like Dallas is a bottom tier franchise. This, they're not the Sacramento Kings. They're not one of these. They're not even the Pelicans. Like they're not one of these franchises that's just living at the bottom of the league. They're a team that consistently make the playoffs, and even when they don't make the playoffs, they're always on the fringe of making the playoffs. We understand they play in the Western Conference, so it's a little bit tougher out there when it comes to making the postseason. So you have to give them that respect. Then when you just think about what Rick Carlisle and Donnie Nelson has done for this franchise together, in tandem, just like you just said, under the Mark Cuban regime, it's been two head coaches. Those two gentlemen were the two head coaches. So that lets you know that Mark Cuban runs a Pittsburgh Steeler type of ordeal here. Like we ain't gonna just run around be firing people just for the hell of it. If we fire them or if they leave, it's gonna be a reason. As we seen both of these gentlemen just they want to move on to something different, a different chapter in their careers, and they mutually agreed to leave. I don't know how much bad blood was poured into this whole thing, but at the end of the day, when you have success, as much as the Dallas Mavericks have had success in today's franchise, in today's NBA or whatnot, you gotta kind of respect that when you got two guys of the caliber of Donnie Nelson and Rick Carlisle leaving. Now, with that said, kudos to those gentlemen and everything they're gonna do in their future. But with Rick Carlisle, I do want to throw this out here. Hey, folks, if you got a team that's pedaling around that could be a contender, but you just don't quite know how to get over the hump, you might want to get Rick Carlisle a call. If you're a team that's never going to make it to the playoffs, that we don't talk about that much, you only get two national televised TV games, or you don't get none, don't call Rick Carlisle because we ain't got time. So, with that said, when you look at what Rick Carlisle could do in the future, I think it's going to have to be a team that's somewhat contender. We're looking at Portland mainly. Portland is a team I can see him. That's a contender. That's a team that got veterans. He don't get him. Listen, I know the Luka Doncic thing was cool. Don't get him another team where you're building crap and you're trying to build something around a young player. I think that ship didn't sell for Rick Carlisle. Get him a team with some veterans. He has a resume himself where he can sit down and talk to some vets, talk to some superstars, talk to some all stars, whatever the case might be, and get some things going. As far as Donnie Nelson go, this might be the last bit of Donnie Nelson we see right here. I think he's going to the house. He's going to do his thing. He's going to enjoy retirement, and we probably won't see him much. Now, the question that begs now is, with those two guys out of the door, Luka Doncic doing this, who do you bring in to move the Dallas Mavericks to the next chapter, to the next level, which is a deep playoff run at this point with Luka being your number one guy. Who do you bring in? This is tough because whoever they bring in, you got to understand the owner of the Dallas Mavericks. This is not one of them guys that sit back, charter flights. He got his own rock band. He got all this other stuff going on where he don't pay attention to the team. One thing, and I do know Mark Cuban got a lot of stuff going on. But the one thing you can say about Mark Cuban is he pays attention to this team. He runs this team. He's there for everything when it comes to this team. So you're gonna have to be able to deal with whatever type of person he is, however his ego is, whatever. You got to be able to develop a relationship with him. So the guy that comes in gonna have a tall task. Then can this new guy that comes in, can he build on what Rick Carlisle had created with Luka Doncic? Can the new coach come in and repair the relationship between Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis? Can he come and repair that? Because listen, that's another big decision. Will the Mavericks trade off Porzingis, or will they try to fix that? I for one would hope. Listen, try to fix it. Let's see if you can try to fix it first before you just trade him off. Porzingis is one of those guys. He has the talent. Something just not clicking now. And you're going to trade him again, and then he's just going to one of them guys that turn into a journeyman at this point. So can you come in and repair that? Then, with that new GM, let's get us some more shooting around Luka. Let's get us, if it's some way you can get a star or something to Dallas, let's make that happen. But it's a lot going on here. It's a lot going on. And I haven't really sat down and thought about good replacements because it's Dallas. You know what I'm saying? This is a team you got to sit down and actually think about. This is a team that's been really, really good. They stay out the news. It's a pretty under the radar team. You think about this. The last time we really, 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 really talked about Dallas was when they was in the finals. So we never really talked about Dallas just being a team that stunk up the joint. We never really talked about Dallas being a team that was just god awful. And that's mainly because of the gentleman that's leaving the organization and the good job that Mark Cuban has done. So, in a nutshell, I believe in Mark Cuban to know that he's going to bring in somebody that I think that would be able to elevate the organization. I believe in Rick Carlisle enough to think he will go to another situation that would benefit that organization. Whether it's Portland, whether it's, Boston, whether it's an organization like that, I believe in them. And listen, at the end of the day, we talked about Luka earlier. We think he is a top 5 player or top 10, however you want to rate him. We think he's good enough where you can build a franchise around him and still elevate your franchise to get to the next level. We have to see how that go. But at the end of the day, hats off to Rick Carlisle and Donnie Nelson, right? Because so much on this show, we talk about guys that leave or guys that get fired, that I personally be like, that's a good firing. Get him out of here. Off with his head. Anything like that, right? Well, I have nothing but respect and admiration for both of these gentlemen. And I have nothing but respect for the Dallas Mavericks organization. So, with that said, shouts off to everything that they do and however their future go. And I guess we just got to see what the future of the Dallas Mavericks would be from this point on.
Another one I didn't see coming with Rick Carlisle, leaving his post. I would have to imagine the reporting on Luka and Rick Carlisle not having the greatest relationship. That would have to be true, I would imagine. Otherwise, I don't see any reason why Rick Carlisle should not keep his job. Even though I think it is a little bit surprising they haven't won a playoff series since they won the finals, but it's not like they have not been a god awful team. Like I'm sure they've had some down years, but there's been a lot of playoff appearances. They just they've been, until they got Luka, they were kind of like sputtering around, this is kind of, the Lakers ended up going through this as well, like post Kobe Bryant. The Dallas post Dirk Nowitzki, they've been trying to figure it out. Like, okay, what do we do now? Then they had Luca fell in their lap. Porzingis, they thought that would be helpful. That is not turned out to be the greatest so far. Although I do agree, that can't be over because Porzingis has Porzingis is a modern prototype big man, 7'3" with guard skills, 3-point range. He appeared to be a little soft. I need him to get down in the paint and bang a little bit more and like control the boards. We need that, but I
Been
still think
yelling that.
I think there's a lot there that there's a lot of stuff that he can do that he's not doing, and I think whoever takes over, they got to strike a balance between Luca just dominating everything that they do. I think they got to do a better job of involving Porzingis. I think that may be part of the problem. I do know, based on a little bit of reading I did this morning, it appears Luka Doncic does have a really good relationship with one of their assistants, Jamal Mosley. So if they want to go in house, and because I think that is important, we've seen it. We've seen how superstar players in the NBA, their opinions and what they think of the coach matters a great deal, way more so than it does in the NFL. So
Right.
that's got to be a huge consideration because that's just how the NBA is. Um, but I would, Rick Carlisle moving forward. I think there's three jobs that come to mind because I think this is a guy right now. I think he should, given what he's done in his career, this dude should go to the front of the line as far as NBA jobs. I think everybody should be open to the idea. If you have a coaching vacancy, to hire Rick Carlisle. I think Boston, Indiana, and Portland are all possibilities. If I had to say which one I'd like to see him take, I'm intrigued by him going to Portland to see if he can elevate Damian Lillard in that franchise to the next level. He's already been to Indiana, so that kind of seems like that'd be kind of a little weird to see him go back there. But I think that'd be a great thing to see since they just had the 1 year of Freddie Kitchens light. So, and then I think Boston we would probably, if you had to pick a job out of those three, Boston seems like the biggest high profile prestige job. But I'm just looking at Rick Carlisle working for Brad Stevens. That seems like to have a weird dynamic on its own. So I'm a little, I wouldn't mind seeing that, but I think that would kind of have its own like it just be kind of weird. I think so. But Dallas, this is that they appear it's going to be a little crossroads, and I think they're gonna have to, whoever they hire, they have to get this right to keep this franchise and Luca on the on the uptick. And I do think also whoever takes over the personnel decisions, Tim Hardaway, I'm not sure if he comes back. He's probably going to command a lot of money in the open market. So you got that to consider because he, as time went along this season, became more important to them than Porzingis. So you got to remember that. So I think for them moving forward, they need another all-star caliber player, and they got to unlock the all-star potential that Porzingis just holding on to right now and not utilizing. Um, Whoever takes the job, that's got to be their priorities moving forward for them to keep moving in the right direction.